What is going on, you guys? Nicola Maserati here. So I am super excited because Sony just announced the new Sony A7 IV. And if you guys have been watching this channel for a while, you know one of the reasons I switched from Canon to Sony is because of the release of the Sony A7 III, which is the current camera that I'm using right now. So in this video, we're going to be talking about some of the features of the new Sony A7 IV, but we're also going to be talking about some of the differences and similarities between the Sony A7 III and the Sony A7 IV, and if it's worth upgrading. But before we get into all that, let's run that intro. All right, guys, so like I said, today we're going to be talking about the Sony A7 IV, some of its features, comparing it to the Sony A7 III, and see if it's worth upgrading for you. But before we get into all that, if you enjoy this kind of content and you want to see more, make sure you hit subscribe and hit that bell so you can be notified every single time I upload a new video. So for those of you that watch this channel a lot, you know that this channel is mainly about editing and editing tutorials and stuff like that. But for those who know me well, you know that I am a huge gearhead. I like lighting, I like lenses, I like new cameras, I like new toys. So I'm really excited to talk about the new Sony A7 IV. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about if it's worth upgrading or not. So I have some notes here from the research that I did just comparing the Sony A7 III to the A7 IV. So I'm just going to kind of go through that. We're going to talk a little bit about the similarities and the differences. So one of the first things to start is the sensor. The sensor on the Sony A7 III has a 24 megapixel sensor, where the Sony A7 IV has a 33 megapixel sensor. The A7 III claims to have 14 stops of dynamic range, but with 8-bit, I'm not really sure if that's actually happening. The A7 IV has 15 stops of dynamic range and has 8 times more processing power than the A7 III. So now let's get into what people are really concerned about, the video portion of it. So with the A7 III, you're looking at 8-bit video, where with the A7 IV, you're looking at 10-bit. So now, even though most of the devices that we watch videos with, like our phones, TVs, our computer monitors, pretty much everything is shown in 8-bit. So when you're watching stuff, you usually can't see the difference in quality between 8-bit and 10-bit. But when it comes to color grading, that's where it really changes. One of the big things with the Sony A7 III is, even though it has S-Log, I do not think it's worth shooting and trying to color grade in S-Log because of that 8-bit color depth. The image just falls apart. You can almost comparing it to shooting stills with JPEG versus RAW. If you try to take a JPEG image, bring it into Lightroom and color it and add some stuff to it, the image is going to start to fall apart. Whereas if you shoot in RAW, where you have a lot more data, you're going to have all that extra information, all that extra data, and the image is going to look a lot better at the end when you're finished coloring it. So with my A7 III, I don't even bother using S-Log. I just shoot in Cine 4. So with frame rates and resolutions, the Sony A7 III shoots at 4K and 1080. With the 1080, you can shoot at 24, 30, 60, or 120. And with 4K on the A7 III, you can shoot in 24 and 30 frames per second. The A7 IV does all the same things in 1080p as the A7 III does. It also does 4K with 30 frames per second with 7K oversampling. One of the things that I'm not a huge fan of, that I wish they did differently, is that it does do 4K 60 frames per second, but it crops into Super 35 mode. And with that, you're going to lose a little bit of dynamic range, but it is better than the A7 III when it comes to that. Now with the autofocus system, you're getting 759 autofocus points in the A7 IV versus 693 autofocus points in the A7 III. Also with the A7 IV, you're getting the autofocus system from the A7S III. And there's actually a bunch of features that they've brought from the A7S III and put into the A7 IV. So for example, like I said, the autofocus system is taken from the A7S III. The image stabilization is exactly the same as the A7S III. And one of the things that I really like about it is they have also brought over the S-Cinetone color profile. Now, I haven't had a chance to actually shoot with the S-Cinetone color profile because I currently have an A7 III, but if I do end up upgrading to the A7 IV, S-Cinetone is going to be one of the big reasons why I switch from the A7 III to the A7 IV. Essentially, you can think of the S-Cinetone color profile as Rec 709 with some added filmic cinematic qualities. I won't go into all the things about the S-Cinetone. You can definitely find that on Google, or there's other people specifically talking about the S-Cinetone, but it is really cool to be able to have that option to shoot in it. And also, if you just want to shoot in S-Log and not have the image fall apart when you're trying to color grade upgrade it, then the A7 IV is going to be the way to go. You also have the exact same batteries as the A7 III and the A7 IV. If you already have 5 batteries for your A7 III, you can go and use those in the new A7 IV. So comparing the price between the A7 III and the A7 IV for the body only, you're looking at about $1,800 for the A7 III and $2,500 for the A7 IV. So there's about a $700 difference between the Sony A7 III and the A7 IV. So is it worth switching from the A7 III to the A7 IV? Thinking about it, is the image quality going to be that much of a big difference between the A7 III and the A7 IV when you've uploaded it to YouTube or Facebook or whatever? It's gone through all that compression? Probably not, because you're still going to be viewing it in 8-bit color anyway. But if you like to shoot in S-Log because of the higher dynamic range and you want to be able to have that extra flexibility of color grading it without it falling apart, then it may be worth you switching from the A7 III to the A7 IV. So if you want to upgrade and you decide to sell your A7 III, you can get about $1,400 or $1,500 for the body on OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace. And from there, you're going to be shelling out probably just over $1,000 to be able to get the body for the A7 IV. So if it's something that's in your budget, something that you just want to upgrade to the next new toy, then it may be worth upgrading. But if not, the A7 III is still an amazing camera. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I have to say about the A7 IV. I hope it was informative. I hope you learned something, and I hope some of the information that I gave you could help you decide if you want to upgrade from the A7 III to the A7 IV, or just buy the A7 IV as a B cam if you've got an A7S III or an FX3. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something from it. If you did, please make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and I'd love to hear what you think of the A7 IV in the comments. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.